50 Gemstones Culture Channel. This is a channel that represents a nation of people that strive for excellence and greatness every single day. I got another bomb live for y'all. But before I begin, y'all hit that like button, subscribe button, and share button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping these lives on you. Also, check out my Spotify podcast, the 250 Gemstones Culture Podcast. Link is in the description. And y'all know how I feel about my chizzing. If you guys like to support the channel, Cash App, $ Michael US. Also, members, sign up for that membership. Thank y'all for the ones who've already signed up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Michael T. Porter Music, my music videos, and my music will be over there, and I'll be covering all genres of music and all of our favorite artists. Don't forget to check out Michael's Skits and Stories, telling the most intriguing, the most captivating, the most entertaining stories, and getting my acting skills on. Keep the camera rolling. Keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Chicago cop, off duty. He was an off-duty Chicago cop, and he was gunned down out there in them Chicago streets. Let me show y'all some love real quick. Give y'all some love quick. Yeah, he was out there off duty and got popped out there. We're going to dive into this thing. Hold on, y'all give me 1 second. Okay, let's jump into this thing. Anything I'll forget? Anything else? Now I got everything covered. Gotta take care of that money. Gotta take care of that money. Gotta take care of that money, honey. Gotta take care of that honey money. Okay. Let's check this out. Y'all look at this. Here we.
Once again, the Chicago Police Department mourns the loss of a police officer, this time in Gage Park.
Glenn Marshall's live at police headquarters with more. Good morning, Glenn.
Hey, good morning, guys. Now, this officer was killed just 2 days before his 31st birthday, and last night the community came together to honor him after he was shot and killed while he was on his way home from protecting the city. Inside St. Gall Parish on the southwest side, Sunday evening's mass held dedicated to fallen Chicago police officer Luis Huesca. The church filled with officers, family, and loved ones. Was then followed by a walk to the crime scene where Luis Huesca lost his life.
6-year member of the department, working very hard out there to keep communities and to keep people safe. And today, that officer was a victim of the type of crime that he was working against.
Superintendent Larry Snelling says the shooting happened just before 3 in the morning. 30-year-old Luis Huesca's vehicle was stolen as he was headed home from work. He was off duty, but police say his uniform was found shot multiple times near the 3100 block of 56th Street. Huesca was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he later died. Mayor Brandon Johnson says Luis Huesca was a member of the 5th District Priority.
So let me rewind it. He said his car was stolen and they shot up the car. Let me see to make sure I hear.
Of the type of crime that he was working against.
Superintendent Larry Snelling says the shooting happened just before 3 in the morning. 30-year-old Luis Huesca's vehicle was stolen as he was headed home from work. He was off duty, but police say his uniform was found shot multiple times near the 3100 block of 56th Street. Huesca was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he later died. Mayor Brandon Johnson says Luis Huesca was a member of the 5th District Priority Response Team while expressing the city is grieving. He released a statement saying, "I met with Officer Huesca's mother and uncle this morning and assured them that they have the full support of my administration as they deal with this unspeakable loss." Luis Huesca lost his life nearly a year after someone shot and killed Officer Ariana Preston while outside of her home after finishing her shift. Both officers worked out of the 5th District Police Station. Neighbors in Gage Park say the crime isn't a normal occurrence.
It could have been any of us too, but I do feel kind of bad though, because it's like this neighborhood, nothing happens. It's so quiet. There's a church, there's a grocery store, there's a high school.
If they will do that to a Chicago police officer, What does anybody think the average citizen stands a chance in any of these situations?
Yeah, y'all don't stand a chance. So I don't understand why are they so strict on guns out there, especially in a city like Chicago.
Now, PPD has not officially said this was a carjacking, but we do know that the superintendent did say that this person's vehicle was stolen. In the meantime, if you have any information that could lead to an arrest in this shooting, police would like you to contact them immediately. We're now live outside of police headquarters on Glenn Marshall, WGN News.
And we're going to go do a little bit of reading. But I want to show y'all something. Chicago off the chain, y'all. Chicago is absolutely under fire. Chicago, that sorry mayor, the migrant crisis.
Future of your business is here. With Wix, you get advanced AI capabilities.
Tonight, men and women in blue stood shoulder to shoulder inside a church honoring Officer Weska. CBS 2's Andrew Ramos was at this prayer vigil. He's live for us in Gage Park here at 10. Andrew?
Well, Chris, it was certainly an emotional vigil that was not only attended by dozens of Chicago police officers, but also the mother of the slain officer, who was too distraught to speak, only thanking those who came out to pay tribute to her son. Heartache and grief emanated from the pews of St. Gall Parish and St. Simon Chapel as this community grapples with the loss of one of their own. An evening service Sunday paying tribute to fallen Chicago police officer Luis Weska. Officers from across the city converged on the Gage Park Church, steps away from the scene of where their brother lost his life hours earlier. Officials say Weska, a 6-year veteran with the force, was returning home from his shift when he was shot multiple times just before 3 Sunday morning in the 3100 block of West 56th Street. The victim of an apparent carjacking, his vehicle, police say, was taken from the scene. He would later die at the hospital.
Que viva Luis!
With hearts heavy, this congregation reflects, putting their faith in God as they search for answers. The mother of Officer Weska, flanked by relatives and loved ones, led a procession to the scene. Officers paying tribute to their fallen comrade with candles
Santa Maria, Madre de Dios,
and prayers. In what is a cruel twist of fate, about a year ago, Officer Weska appeared in a tribute video for his good friend and colleague, Officer Andres Vasquez Lasso.
That's why I became a cop.
Who was shot and killed responding to a domestic violence call.
En el nombre del Padre.
The irony, now a chilling reminder of the challenges police officers make each day on the job.
Whether it was at work or outside of work, he did take the time to help others, and he's one of those guys that actually deserves this star.
What was insurmountable pain a year later persists. Now, investigators spent a good part of their day canvassing the area, searching for any surveillance footage as well as any evidence to really find those who are responsible. As of right now, no one is in custody. We're told this investigation is ongoing. That's the latest from here in Gage Park. Andrew Ramos, CBS 2 News.
Andrew, thank you very much.
Ooh. You hit it right here. Is according to WTTW.com. If you guys want to check out the article, our city is grieving. Off-duty police officer among at least 3 killed by gunfire across Chicago over the weekend. Article written by Matt Matterson. I do the videos and a little bit of reading just to see if there's more details. Mayor Brandon Johnson met with Huesca's mother and uncle Sunday, assured them that they have full support. No one has been taken into custody with the connection with his killings as Monday morning. 2 men were fatally shot just before 2 a.m. Saturday in 2500 block of East 83rd Street. Police said 3 men were outside in that area when someone opened fire. striking each of them. A 43-year-old man was struck in the neck, and a 36-year-old man discovered nearby was struck in the chest. Both men died on scene. Man, what were they getting hit with? The third victim was hospitalized in critical condition. A 20-year-old woman was stabbed to death inside a home in the 7700 block of South Trumbull Avenue. Police said she was discovered inside a home in that area at around 3:45 p.m. Saturday. One person of interest has been taken into custody. Chicago is cutting up. A couple of points I want to make. All officers are not good. Let's start with that. All officers are not good. And those of you that have been indoctrinated by society, then you automatically going to see, oh, this is horrible, this is horrible, this is this is that, this is that, this and that. The man Huescas is part of law enforcement, and many times throughout the U.S. history, especially in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, police played a big part on the drugs on war. Police played a big part in the crime in the city. Not just police, all law enforcement, CIA, FBI, the mayor, all these politicians have contributed to the corruption and destruction of America. So when I see them giving these visuals and all these elaborate ceremonies to a fallen officer, I say it's cool. On the humanistic side, I understand. You know, that's a human being that's no longer alive. That's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother. That side I understand, but not his police side, because Chicago has corrupt police. What fascinates me is that nobody's asking the questions. Where are these guns coming from if Chicago has such a strict gun laws? If they have such strict gun laws, how is it that there's so many guns on the streets of Chicago? Like Nino Brown said in the infamous movie New Jack City, Uzis aren't manufactured in Harlem. Uzis are not manufactured in Harlem. Where are these guns coming from? And the police don't know with the type of technology we have today? Do you understand that with the amount of technology, cameras are everywhere, the crime is still going up. It's higher than, I'm not going to say ever before, but it's still high. It's consistently high. I put it like that. It's consistently high. And you want me to believe that the police have nothing to do with the crime in Chicago? The military has nothing to do with the crime in Chicago? The mayor, we're going to get to the mayor. That's my second point. The mayor, that is the worst of the worst. Borders wide open. Migrants, people starving, evictions. There's a lot of stuff going on in that city, but just from the police officer standpoint, in our society, police lives are more valuable than any other life in society. Their lives are more, according to society, their lives are more precious than doctors. Their lives are more precious than truck drivers, more precious than a hardworking grandfather who took their grandbabies in because their kids are on drugs. Their life is more precious than anybody's, and I totally disagree. When Jesus came, he said, the world that we live in is a fake world. See, it's called social engineering. Certain people's lives, people with certain statuses, like police officers, celebrities, presidents, these are the untouchables. These are the people, no matter what they do, they will always get the benefit of the doubt. And the people who are, you can throw in priests and pastors, you can throw them niggas in there too. But the people who struggling, the people who are trying to do good, they're just in messed up situations, we have to prove that we were decent people while we were here on earth. With the police, all they have to do is be a police officer. Think about that. Just by being a police officer, their lives are more protected and their lives are more valuable. Their lives are more precious I've never seen police officers as lives more precious than mine or anyone else's. We all the same to a degree. Now, when you talk about work ethic, when you talk about the humanistic things you've done, the humanitarian things you've done, that's things that move me personally. Because if the police, see, y'all looking at it like, oh, what are you talking about? Here's the thing. Everybody's saying that this man was a good man. How many crooked police have he locked up? Now we talking. Even though he may be one of the good ones, you're still a bad one because you're part of that gang, right? And this is how the police look at people. You're guilty until proven innocent. Cool. That is, if that's how the policing, the law enforcement approaches everyday folk, cool. And so are you. You are guilty in my eyes until you prove to me that you really were down for the cause. I can't go off what anybody else says. Where's the paperwork showing that Mr. Wescas, make sure I get the name right. See if I keep it up. Yeah, Luis M. Wesca. How many police officers has he got off the force? Now, if he start getting police officers off the force, dirty, corrupt police officers, if he's seeing some things going on with his superintendent, if he's seeing things that's going on the field within the law enforcement, then I can say, oh, this man was a good dude. He's cleaning up. But for people to automatically assume when a police officer gets dropped, they were a good person, I totally disagree. Absolutely not. Just look around. I'm about to do another story of 2 police officers brutally attack a white man. It wasn't a brother this time. It was a white man. They beat this man down. I want to know, where is Luis Wesca's track record of pointing out the corruption in law enforcement? You're not going to convince me, as large as Chicago's law enforcement is, none of these people are corrupt. This is a society that we live in. A lot of people are brainwashed that no police officer life is more valuable. It's unfortunate, but as a cop, just because you got a badge and a gun, society teaches us that these people's lives are way more valuable. Hell to the no. They just have a license to kill. That's all. And that is all. Out of all the police that have been killed, I've never heard them say, you know what, and they were fighting against the corruption within their own organization, because they cannot do that, because it goes against the police code. It's a brotherhood, it's a bond, a sisterhood. You got female officers, it's a sisterhood. You understand what I'm saying? So they got to prove to me that this officer was good. It's like we have to prove to them that we're innocent when we get pulled over. Folks who ain't got nothing getting their heads bashed in by the police. Oh yeah. All kinds of corruption. So, you know, let's see how this plays out. Let's see if they're going to actually catch these guys. Second point, Mayor Johnson. What an absolute disgrace. What an absolute disgrace. Lori Lightfoot, another one. Absolute trash. Just absolute trash. This man has literally, Chicago has been bad for a long time, since the 90s. And I don't see no end to it. The only end is resistance. We have to understand that power, resources have to be fought for. It has to be fought for. There's a lot of Chicagoans that love Chicago. I want to see Chicago. I heard just like everywhere else, it got some good parts and some bad parts. Mayor Johnson should have been fired. Lori Lightfoot should have been fired. But here's the thing, Chicago is running out of leaders. And here's the thing, I really can't say that because there's a lot of people speaking out, especially black folks. Black folks in Chicago, shout out to y'all for stepping up. They have dumped migrants on y'all, specifically in the black neighborhoods. I know it affects the whole city as a whole. White, Jews, Irish, everybody out there, but they specifically dumped these migrants, illegal migrants, in the black neighborhoods and gave them the resources, the very same resources that black folks have been fighting for a long time. There's hopelessness in Chicago. And through all this chaos, you know what society tells us? You need to still conduct yourself in an orderly fashion. This is the type of mind games that society plays with people, the people who's running society, Satan, devils. Criminals, crime is through the roof, and they want to take away people's guns. Think about that. This is the type of world we're living in. The liberals out there, and I'm not I lean more towards conservatives, if for those that want to know, as far as business, the basics of running the country, strong military, closing the goddamn border, more guns, better education, healthcare, things that just common sense stuff, right? But those people, the liberals and the people that represent Chicago, saying no that the crime is high, and they want to strip law-abiding citizens of their constitutional rights. Think about that. Owning a gun is not a privilege. Chicago, do you hear me? Owning a gun is not a privilege. It is a right to own one. They treat it like a privilege. What do you mean it's a privilege? The amount of effort it takes in the paperwork, in the background checks to get a damn gun in Chicago is ridiculous. Chicago, New York, California, they're stripping you. Meanwhile, you have illegal people coming, people who's not been vetted, people who haven't been scrutinized, haven't been checked, no background checks. You know what kind of mindset they come from these third world countries? It's absolutely chaotic. It's a slap in the face as free people. I speak as a free man. I speak as a man first, a free man, then black man last, because we got to understand Chicago is hell on, well, the whole world is hell on earth, but Chicago, New York, California, these liberal ran cities, Mayor Johnson has his head up his ass and brought all these people from around the world and dumped in Chicago was already doing bad. Where's the money, Mayor Johnson? Why you keep trying to take our money? You taking our guns? Speaking as a Chicagoan, if I'm Chicago, I'm pissed off. No resources, rent high, homelessness. You're trying to take away our guns. It's not a privilege to have a gun. It is a right. The only way these people are going to give back our rights, we have to fight for it. Platforms like this have to wake up the people. Corrupt cops, corrupt mayors, corrupt presidents, corrupt FBI, CIA, SWAT, DEA, all corrupt. And then they want us to abide by a set of rules that they don't even live by they damn selves. How is this man not locked up for bringing all these people to Chicago? All these illegals. How is this man not locked up? Mayor Johnson needs to get his ass up out. Let me put up this nigga. I hate looking at this nigga face. Hold on. Because this nigga here, this nigga Mayor Johnson is the worst of the worst. Absolute trash. Look at this. Look at this idiot. Oh, how can you talk about another black man? Hey, I'm black. That's a nigga right there. That's different. That's a nigger if I ever seen one. How is he not locked up? Can you imagine doing just a fourth, a fraction of what these people doing? Everybody's corrupt. We go to jail and then they get a pension. Think about that. Congress only got served one term and they get a pension. Their life is set, not including all the kickbacks and bribes they get. And you wonder why Chicago is in the state that it's in. Police getting clapped. Police. This is what happens when you have desperate people. This is what happens when resources are not being allocated to Chicago. This is what happens when the intentions of Chicago are demonic. It is his responsibility and the people to make sure that the money goes where it needs to go. Meaning fair housing. What's he about to do about the fair housing? He don't care. If they'll kill a cop, if I'm a mayor, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They may get my black ass too. If I'm a cop, if I'm a mayor, like, damn, they're killing cops. Luis Wesker, he ain't the only one. He ain't the only one that killed that black officer last year. Pretty black girl. Young. I'm not understanding how did we get to this point, but the number one issue is weak men in this country. This is why the LGBTQ was put into place for millennials, Generation Z. I don't know what the generation going to be after Z, but millennials, Generation Z, this is what you get. They targeted the baby boomers and Generation X with the gang culture, the drug culture, the Bloods and Crips, 80s and the 90s. This is when they were pushing all the black men in jail, get the fathers out the homes, putting black women on welfare. She had a choice, either pick the black man or pick the government programs. This has been a 50, 60-year plan. I was on YouTube watching, I don't know if you guys know, Lord Jamar was talking about white folks and people, the devils that run this world, they have a 100-year plan, a 1,000-year plan. These people are planning for years in advance. This wasn't overnight. And like I said, Chicago has been like this since the 90s. It's been cracking since the 90s. Probably, now I want to say before that, I want to say at least what, late 70s? How is Mayor Johnson still have a freaking job? That is just absolutely, if you are a manager anywhere and you're put in a position to thrive, all managers are put in a position to help the establishment thrive. The moment the shareholders, stakeholders, board of directors, investors begin to see a decline, your ass is out of there. That's how businesses are ran. Being a mayor is a damn business. Your job is to make sure Chicago thrives. Police officers, most people are scared to shoot police officers because, you know, that's like a guaranteed life sentence. You out of there. Because going back to the beginning of this live, societies has brainwashed us to believe officers' lives are more valuable than our own, than normal folks and doctors and anybody else. I always disagree with that. They just a mofo with a badge and a gun. You got to prove to me what significant things have you done in the community. What significant things have you done for your family? Who are you outside the badge? And when you had the badge, how many of your own have you thrown in jail and snitched on? That's what I want to see. Lock these bastards up. Lock them crooked ass cops up. But they will never go against the code. So Mayor Johnson has done absolutely not just for black folk, for the city of Chicago. He's put in place to thrive. And when it all comes down to the men, the pussification of men, the men are lost. God's sons, not just in America, around the world, are under pressure. There's no way Satan's going to give the power back. We have to take the power. You take the power by educating others. You take the power by undoing the brainwash. You got men thinking they women. How in the hell can we get this country together when men thinking they women? Men going to Walgreens trying to purchase a tampon. What the fuck are you purchasing a tampon for? You don't bleed, nigga. This is the world that we live in. They had to destroy the men so there will be no force. There will be no resistance. Resistance does not come from women. The resistance comes from strong men, fathers, uncles, brothers, men who are, their internal reflects God, helping others, building. You don't see any building in Chicago. Homelessness is through the roof. I mean, it's everywhere right now because of the president, but them big cities, Chicago's the third largest city. New York, LA, Chicago, Houston. Yeah, they're the third largest. All those people that need help, all those people who give their best. How can you give your best? And they keep signing legislation. They keep doing things to cripple your business. They keep doing things to infringe on your right as an American. Taking away the guns and the gangs are out of control. Make that make sense. How are the law-abiding citizens of Chicago supposed to defend themselves against all that crime? Stabbings. Now, while these guns out in the streets, people are stabbing left and right. No, that's what I mean. People are idiots. By their logic, law-abiding citizens shouldn't have guns for whatever reason. That's somehow supposed to stop the crime. Criminals do not care about the laws. That's why they call criminals. They're going to get them guns regardless, right? So by their logic, if there's less guns, that means there will be less shootings. That will prevent the shootings, right? So by their logic, that means all men should be castrated to prevent rape. By their logic, if everybody strip everybody of guns, there will be no shootings, which you will only strip law-abiding citizens. There will be no shooting. We're trying to prevent the shootings. The gun didn't shoot the person. It was another person. There's a force. We're emotional people. We're human beings. We're very complex. It's never just black and white when you're dealing with human beings, and they know that. By your logic, every man should be castrated to prevent rape. No, it wasn't the dingaling that encouraged the man. It was the man that encouraged the dingaling to go against a woman, go against her consent, you jackass. What is wrong with this goddamn country? I don't understand how these people still have their goddamn job. Mary Johnson need to go. They need to sweep the police department. We're gonna do a clean sweep. We need to investigate the military. How are all these kids getting high-powered weapons? Military. Once again, Nino Brown and New Jack City said Uzis are not manufactured in Harlem. Where they coming from? Corruption all through the yin yang. And this nigga got on here talking about Mary Johnson. This nigga got on here talking about our condolences go to the family, and me and my administration is gonna blah blah blah. Nigga, please. You are the problem. You are a major problem. Absolutely trash. We're gonna see how this plays out. Like I said, as a human being, it's unfortunate that Luis M. Westcott lost his life. Now, based on what the people on the street saying, he was a decent dude. He was one of the few officers that actually gave a damn about the community, and that's cool. But you still got to show me something else. You got to show me how many of them corrupt police officers you locked up, because if you ain't speaking on the corruption in the law enforcement, you part of the problem. That's why I say I can't just automatically say, oh man, it's so sad the officer lost his life. His people, which are other officers, are part of the problem, and he's with them. If you do a crime, there's a drive-by, and there's 4 people in the car, even though you weren't the shooters, even though I wasn't saying I'm in the car with 4 niggas, even though I didn't pull the trigger, I'm still doing jail time, because they said just by you being in the car, you could have prevented the crime. You could have persuaded the other suspects from committing the crime. But because you remained silent and you went along, you are now an accomplice, and you will do jail time. So for every officer that don't speak up about the corruption in law enforcement, they're just as guilty. Now y'all getting it. But as a human being, it's unfortunate. Word on the street, he was good. And we see how this is going to play out. But y'all flood my comments. What do y'all think about the crime in Chicago? Still high. It's consistently high. And what do y'all think about this officer, Luis M. Westcott? One of the few that actually gave a damn about the people and lost his life off duty, got shot up, and they stole his car. 250. Capital G. Oh, before I go, thank y'all for every like. Thank y'all for every share. Thank y'all for every subscription. Thank y'all for every mention. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. YouTube uploads 37 million videos a day. So for anybody that took the time out to interact, the comments going crazy. Some of y'all a little bit mean, but it's okay because I'm mean too, baby. Appreciate y'all, whether you disagree, agree, in the middle, neutral. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a nice day. Like I said, be safe. Get right with God. Handle your business. 250. I'm gone, baby.